And hello there. It is me, Dr. Polly Heil-Mealey with Abundant Health and Wellness, your holistic clinic located at downtown Humble, Main Street and Avenue C. Now today I want to talk to you about a recent discovery that I made. I went to a conference last week and I've already started posting about these new DNA tests. I'll just kind of hold this up here. And it's sealed. I don't know why I can't open it, but I'm not going to open it. What you're going to find in here is a box to mail your sample back, and you're going to see a little swab. It's all sterile and all that. And what you're going to do is you're going to swab the inside of each cheek for 1 minute. So it's really, really low invasive, and you send it off, and we get all kinds of information. So one of the things that I learned this weekend, past weekend when I went to this conference, and we know this, we know that everything we feel, everything that happens to us, all the trauma, all the good things, birth order, everything affects how our immune system responds. And so I was able to speak with Dr. Dickie Fuller-Looney, and she is the founder of Transformation Enzyme Corporation. Now, we use a lot of transformation enzymes here at the clinic. If you've done any kind of gut rebuild with me, we've probably used the Thrive in 63 protocol. And so this company puts that together, and they're great. They've been doing enzyme therapy for 30 years. Now, I want to just clear up some misunderstanding, because a lot of people, if it says enzyme on the bottle, they think it's good for digestion. And that's a yes or no. It depends. In my terminology, when I say enzymes, I'm talking about things that I want you to take to help you with your digestion. When Transformation Enzyme Corporation talks about enzymes, they're talking about catalysts for all the chemical things that your body needs. So your body makes enzymes from the amino acids. So if you're taking amino acids, you're doing bone broth, you're doing high protein, you're getting a lot of amino acids in there, the body will change those into enzymes. Those enzymes then become a catalyst for all the bodily functions that we have. So Transformation Enzyme Corporation makes digestive enzymes, but also makes other products as well that helps everything keep going in the right direction. So we had a little bit of confusion about that and talking to some of our people this week, so I just kind of want to set the record straight. But Dr. Dickie, now I've known her for about 3 years, and one of the things that she says is that negativity, now think about negativity, anything that makes you feel sad, anything that makes you feel bad, right? And that can be anything from somebody, saying something ugly about you, or something turning out not the way you wanted it to, or, a hurt, a pain, whatever. So she says negativity is felt and delivered to our cells in the form of sickness, inflammation, and confusion. So we don't really think about negativity as having an impact on our health, but it does. So this imbalance eventually develops into sickness and bad behavior, okay? Cells listen to what you say, and they feel what you say, okay? So there are over 1,400 different chemicals that dump into the bloodstream, and they cause our bodies to develop stress, okay? So what we're going to talk about today is autoimmune disease and how we can actually get tested to know what to do if we have autoimmune disease. So I'm going to talk to you about quite a few things, and I see people coming on and saying hello. I don't see everybody, but I do want to shout out to Cindy and to Denise. Thank you guys for watching. I know there's other people on, but I don't see, it's not scrolling up, so I don't know what to say to you. But thank you for watching. So we're going to be talking about autoimmune disease, okay? So this is from, this is an article that I got, and I don't have a reference on here, but I'll get it to you. I think it's from the Medium, and I'm not even sure, Tessa Love, whoever Tessa Love is, you can Google it. Anyway, So she's talking about autoimmune disease, and here are some interesting statistics. It says that you can be seen by 10 different doctors over a 5-year period before you're diagnosed with an autoimmune disease. So that doesn't sound like fun to me. If I don't feel well, I want to go to the doctor and I want the doctor to tell me what's wrong with me and fix it, okay? Nobody has time to be going to 10 different doctors over a 5-year period and decide what's going to be happening with that, okay? So I'm just going to read you some information here, and we're going to talk about this a little bit. So this lady, her name was Stacy. She suffered from joint pain, heart palpitation, and severe fatigue. So those are pretty common symptoms, right? The doctor said that it was all psychosomatic, gave her some Xanax, and told her to go out and get some exercise, okay? So she said every time they would look for a cause, there would be no cause. She said going to the doctor became a nightmare. So autoimmune diseases, right, are on the rise. So this is something that we don't want to hear, but autoimmune diseases are on the rise. It says autoimmune diseases occur when the immune system turns on itself and begins to attack the body's own cells and tissues. But the doctors don't know why, so they don't know what kind of pill to give you. There are some new researchers that say that the rise of the cause of autoimmune disease can be pinpointed to changes in our environment, which in turn causes changes in our bodies. Over the past 100 years, humanity has drastically altered the way we have lived for the majority of our existence, okay? It says with better medicine comes the instance for overuse of antibiotics, which gives the rise of superbugs. With industrialized farming comes the rise of chemicals and processed foods, all of which could have something to do with the onset of autoimmunity. So what are some autoimmune diseases? Well, diabetes, especially type 1, Crohn's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, Sjogren's, lupus, okay, all of those, alkalizing spondylitis, okay? Maybe I didn't even say that right, but all of these are autoimmune diseases, and they are on the rise because of this. Celiac disease, multiple sclerosis, all right? There are 100 different autoimmune diseases. And so as we get older, I hate to say this, but as we get older, our opportunity to contract an autoimmune disease is on the rise. And so we want to make sure that we're not doing the wrong things, right? And we want to make sure we are doing the right things in order for our immune system to do what God intended it to do. So our immune system is supposed to attack any invader. So that would be a germ, a parasite, a fungus, a virus. It's supposed to attack that, take care of it with macrophages or phagocytes, which are all little Pac-Man like creatures in the body. We talked a couple of weeks ago when we talked about intermittent fasting, that intermittent fasting gives the body a relief from digestion, so it's able to go in and find the critters and get rid of them. And so this is what we want. We want an immune system to be working at its optimal best. Now, a lot of people will say, I want to boost my immune system. Well, no, you don't, okay? When you are boosting your immune system, that means you're triggering your immune system. You don't want to do that. You want to strengthen your immune system. And how do you do that? You do that with good herbs, good supplements, good lifestyle, good thought process, good living, doing things that make you happy and all that kind of stuff. So we don't want to boost our immune system. We want to strengthen our immune system. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Okay, so this lady was actually diagnosed with Hashimoto's disease. Now, Hashimoto's disease is an immune disease of the thyroid. Now, we've talked about Dr. Hulda Clark in a few videos back. So if you didn't catch up with that, then you need to go back and look at our history. But Dr. Hulda Clark is a great immunologist. She's a Canadian scientist, and she says that autoimmune disease, especially anything that has to do with the thyroid, has to do with benzene in the environment, which unlocks the parasites. The parasites get in the bloodstream. The parasites are able to go through the bloodstream and get to the thyroid and the thymus and start attacking us there. So that is a cause, because we're all so clean here in America, right? Cleanliness is next to godliness. My mom always told me. I've never found that in the Bible, but that's what she told me. And so we have a almost fetish of being clean. I remember one of our grandsons, this was a few years back when SARS was all over the news, and the school was saying, wash your hands, wash your hands. And they had this antibacterial gel in the schools. Don't know what brand it was. Doesn't really matter. But this poor child washed his hands so much that his hands started peeling because of the alcohol and the antibacterial gel just dried out his hands so much that he was having some real problems. Now, we know with your immune system that your skin, the actual skin, is your biggest barrier to invaders. So if you're doing the antimicrobial sanitizing gel too much, it's going to actually remove the acid layer that kills all the bugs off your skin, and it's also going to open up that skin, so you're going to have microbes penetrating the skin, which is what we don't want. So there's just a caution there. But we are very, very key to be clean, and I'm all about being clean, so I don't think we need to be dirty. But when we are so fastidious about being clean, then we don't give our bodies what it needs in order to strengthen our immune system. So I'm telling you a funny story. Okay, I was a very little girl. I don't remember this. I think it was before I could walk, and my mother says that I was walking at 9 months. So go ahead and do the math. But we had a little puppy, and the puppy was a Cocker Spaniel. So I'm telling you what my mother told me. So if I get it wrong, whatever. Anyway, she told me that one day she came into the kitchen, and I was down on all fours eating the dog food right beside our little puppy. And she was horrified because, of course, I was eating the dog food. And I'm not recommending you eat the dog food, right? Dog food is not fit for human consumption. It's probably better than it was 60 years ago, right? But anyway, it's not supposed to be for humans. Anyway, what did that do to my immune system? Well, it exposed me probably to some dog slobber. It exposed me to whatever nastiness was in the dog food, but it gave my immune system something to work with, and it strengthened my immune system because it brought into my field, into my body, different microbes that I wouldn't have found otherwise, okay? Babies are on the floor. Babies pick up dirt from the floor. I don't care how clean your house is. If people walk in your house, they've got shoes on, they're bringing outside stuff inside, and when your baby comes in contact with that, it's going to tell the immune system, hey, this is something that's not supposed to be here. The immune system is going to start acting. It strengthens your immune system, okay? So this is just really, really important. Okay. Unlike cancer, the autoimmune diseases do not get reported to the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention or to the National Institute of Health. This means there's no database to help researchers understand how many people are affected, where the cases are occurring, or how quickly incidences of certain diseases are rising. These are all key points. Now, it does say type 1 diabetes, for instance, rose 23% between 2001 and 2009 in the United States. And this is according to the American Diabetic Association. In the UK, the diagnosis of Crohn's disease, which we call it irritable bowel syndrome or IBS, grew more than 300% between 1994 and 2014, according to the Health and Social Care Information Center. Canada saw cases of pediatric inflammatory bowel disease increase 7.2% every year This is only between 1999 and 2010, and this is according to a 2017 study. So what does this mean? This means that autoimmune diseases are increasing faster than our genes are able to transmit it. So this is leading the researchers to say it's just not that you are inheriting this, it is that there's something in the environment that's causing our immune systems to break down. Okay? Let me see. Let me go. I already said all that. I don't want to bore you saying it more than one time. Okay. It does say genetics explains a good portion of autoimmune disease prevalence. They know that these diseases tend to cluster in families. When one family member has an autoimmune condition, other families are at increased risk. This is why we want to do this testing. So, there's a big misunderstanding that if your genes say there's XYZ in the history, you automatically are going to have XYZ. I talked to a medical doctor this weekend. He was a cancer specialist, and he says everybody's all concerned about the BRCA gene, and they're having their breasts removed and they're having their ovaries removed because they're concerned about inheriting this disease. He said that is not the thing to do because cancer is an environment, and yes, having the gene makes you more liable to express cancer, but if you keep your immune system strong, then that's not going to be a big deal. He says we're in a false sense of security because we have our breasts removed, we have our ovaries removed, but we don't have a cancer-free lifestyle, so that cancer is going to express itself in other organs. So I'm just telling you what the medical doctor told me. I think that's common sense. I do believe that cancer is an environment, and just because I have that gene and I go and have my breast removed, that doesn't leave me cancer-free. What that means is I've mutilated my body, right? But if I don't live a holistic lifestyle, that gene is not just in my breast, it's in my DNA, and it's going to express itself somewhere else. So I'm just telling you what the doctor said, okay? I'm trying to shed a little bit of light on this. The scientists know, here's this quote, the scientists know that autoimmune disease affect women at a disproportionately higher rate than men. Some estimates say that women account for 75% of the U.S. population affected by autoimmunity. And I don't like that because I don't think that we should be more affected, okay? Some 30 million people are affected by autoimmune disease. Some research suggests that the fact that women have 2 X chromosomes could be a factor. The X chromosome is home to tiny pieces of genetic material called microRNAs, which are thought to be involved in the human immune system function. So this is a lot of stuff that I'm not even qualified to talk about. That's why I read these reports and I let the scientists do what they say. The rate at which autoimmune diseases are rising far outpaces the rate at which genes can pass them on. So we're talking about an increase in autoimmune disease over 30 years. Genetics don't change that much, so it has to be something in the environment, okay? So scientists, now this is very interesting, and I want you to pay attention, okay, because this goes against conventional wisdom. Scientists began noticing a steep uptick in cases of autoimmune disease and allergies in the 1980s and 1990s, while, and here's a correlation, cases of infectious diseases such as measles, mumps, and tuberculosis were falling, largely due to the widespread use of vaccines and antibodies. Researchers theorized that these trends are related. Perhaps the absence of infection, the very thing our immune system needs and we're designed to protect us from, is causing the system to malfunction. So let me kind of break this down for you. What these scientists are saying is we're inoculating the whole population against childhood diseases. So these childhood diseases are meant to cause the immune system to see something that is not right. It's an infection. Mostly it's viral, right? And so the diseases are to cause the immune system to wake up and say, hey, I don't belong here. Make some antibodies, make something so I'm not here anymore. And so the child gets a little bit of a swelling in the lymph gland, or the child gets the measles, or TB, which is a lung issue. I don't know that that's a childhood disease. No, that's pretty much been eradicated unless you travel. But these infectious diseases, chickenpox, measles, mumps, that kind of thing that we all used to have as children, woke up our immune system and caused our immune system to become strong. If we don't have these challenges, right, and you don't have those same challenges with the vaccine. Why is that? Because it is not a wild variety viral infection. It is a manufactured synthetic something that gets injected into the skin. So when you're having a measles, mumps, chickenpox, you're getting that virus through your airways, right? Or you're touching someone that has a sore and you're getting it that way. You're not getting it subcutaneously through an injection. You're getting it along the pathway that causes your immune system to respond. And the response to these diseases gives you lifelong immunity and even protects you against certain cancers. Now, this is what's being left out of the conversation. So I want you guys to do your own research. I've got a lot of podcasts out there. I mean, I'm getting it out there as easy as I can, but I'm not having tons and tons of money to do PSAs all the time. And all you're hearing on the media is, oh my gosh, there's 300 cases of measles, we're all going to die. You're only going to die from the measles if you have very, very low vitamin A. In this country, the United States of America, everything is fortified, especially with Americans eating the standard American diet. You're eating a lot of processed foods. You're eating a lot of fortified foods. You've got plenty of vitamin A. It's going to be extremely rare for anybody to die of the measles. I think the last research I looked at, which was not today, but it was very recently, said that no one had died of measles in multiple decades, okay? If someone gets the measles and they have a very compromised immune system, then that might be a different story. But we're talking about healthy children that get wild-caught measles out there. There's no cause for alarm. The CDC, just going to tell you this, the CDC has a lot of measles vaccines that are expiring, and they are trying to get everybody all hyped up so they get to sell these vaccines before they are expired. I think actually they expired at the end of March. This is early February, so y'all have to check me on that, but that was the last research I looked at. So what this research is saying is that because our children are not exposed to normal childhood diseases, their immune systems are very, very weak. And if you look at our immune schedule, our vaccine schedule, I think we're up to 68 vaccinations between the time a child is born. They get their first vaccine on the day that they're born, and then they go all through high school. At 18, they start getting whatever they're getting for college. By the time they're 18, they've had 68 different injections. So they get to be a grown-up and they decide, oh, I'm not going to go have any more immunizations, which I think is a good idea. And their immune system now is hampered because it hasn't been strengthened through normal growing up. So what's happening is now they are an adult. They're in this highly industrialized environment with all of our chemicals and our detergents and all that kind of stuff. And that causes even further weakening of the immune system. And so, boom, we get an autoimmune disease. Boom, we get cancer. So we need to stop the madness and go back and find out what is going on. So I'm telling you these trends, and this is not the Dr. Polly version. This is scientific research that I'm giving you here. So just telling you that. It says this observation, okay, hi Donna, hi Pam, hi Sherry, glad you guys are there. I'm sure some other people are there because I've got tons of people watching. I just don't see who you are. So thank you for watching. It says this observation that I just talked about no vaccinations, was the genesis of the so-called hygiene hypothesis, okay? This theory that a sterile environment leaves the children vulnerable in unanticipated ways. Researchers thought that the children should be induced to more pathogens at a young age to build up the immune system. Scientists have further refined this theory. According to, hey guys, thanks for saying hi. There's Melissa, there's Mindy, and people just keep scrolling up. There's Julia, there's Donna. Hey, nice to see you guys. Thank you so much. According to Graham Rook, emeritus professor of medical microbiology, okay, medical microbiology, right, at the University College in London, the immune system needs early and regular exposure to common and harmless microbes, bacteria essentially, in order to learn how to react to threats. Hey Linda, hey Julia, thanks for turning in. Epidemiology, okay, the point is confirmed that if you don't have the right organisms in your gut at a certain critical point in your development, then there are defects in your immune system. Now, this is not Dr. Google saying this. This is a professor, right? A medical professor in London. So we need to pay attention and listen to the experts. Hi, Joanne. The much needed microorganisms come primarily from the natural environment and what is known as the maternal, that's the mom, that's me, the maternal microbiome. The healthy bacteria we get from our mothers in utero and through the vaginal canal and even through breast milk. These sources have been compromised in developed nations due to less exposure to green space, less varied diet, overuse of antibiotics, and the falling rates of breastfeeding and natural birth. So I'm just going to tell you, I have nieces and nephews that are the same ages as my children. My children are in their mid-30s now. And about 10 years ago, when everybody was having babies, we had people in our family that wouldn't go full term. They would decide they wanted to have a planned birth. They would book their C-section, and they would go in, and they wouldn't go through labor and all that kind of stuff. So, and that's something that modern medicine allows. I'm not going to say that that's a good thing or bad thing because I'm not an OBGYN. I do have my opinion, but it's my opinion, and it doesn't matter. What we're finding is that children that are not born through the birth canal, they don't have the proper microbes to have a strong immune system. Breastfeeding has fallen out of fashion, but when you feed your babies with your own breast milk, then you are giving them the best microbiome hit that you can give them. Even if you're not a great breastfeeder, if you do it some of the time partially, even if you have to supplement with formula, your baby's going to be much, much better. So we want to say that, okay? This Dr. Rook says people are exposed to a far less diverse range of microbes, or in the case of antibiotics, these microbes are killed off. That means our immune system is less equipped to deal with bacteria, good or bad, that comes our way. It's not so much our cleanliness, but our increasingly industrial lifestyle that blocks the intake of these important microorganisms. Now, I want to segue over here into our food. So if we don't buy organic, right, then our chickens and our beef and our lamb and whatever we're eating is injected with antibiotics and injected with hormones that get into our bodies, and it further kills off the microbial colonies that we have. So we don't want to do that. We want to get organic. We want to get grass-fed. We want to be able to have as limited an exposure to xenoestrogens or antibiotics as we possibly can. Okay? The doctor goes on to say, the greater diversity of organisms in our gut, the healthier we seem to be. So, people who live, and this is going to make you sad, people who live in developed countries have a higher rate of autoimmune disease than people living in the least developed countries. People living in rapidly modernizing nations are also more susceptible to autoimmune diseases as their countries modernize, okay? Studies show that developed nations have less microbially diverse environments than underdeveloped ones, according to Dr. Rook, suggesting a strong link between the onset of autoimmunity and the lack of exposure to diverse microbiomes, okay? So this is important. This is from a scientist. He says in order to have a strong immune system, you need to be exposed to critters, okay? Now, I'm not saying don't be clean. I'm not saying let your child eat the dog food. I'm not saying that. What I am saying is let them play in the dirt. Let them play outside. Let them run outside barefoot. Yeah, you're going to have some problems. You're going to have some pesticide. You're going to have some insect bites. You're going to have some stuff. But that stuff is going to give them what they need for their immune system, to strengthen their immune system, so when they get big and strong adults, they've got a working immune system that is not going to differentiate into an autoimmune disease because it doesn't know what the heck is happening, okay? That's all a lot of medical terms, so I hope you enjoyed that, okay? Rook and other researchers recommend that people get more exposure to nature by spending time outside, use antibiotics more judiciously, especially if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, and eat a healthy, holistic diet, okay? So, let me see, where am I? Okay, I'm still on this. There is almost universal agreement among scientists and physicians that environmental toxins and chemicals that we are increasingly exposed to are interfering with the immune system's ability to distinguish self from non-self. So let me break that down. My thyroid belongs to me. My thyroid lives in me as part of my DNA, okay? I should not have an immune system that starts attacking my thyroid. I should not have Hashimoto's disease, right? I should not have multiple sclerosis. I should not have diabetes. I should not have Crohn's disease. I should not have any of those things because all of those are autoimmune. My immune system should say, my tissue belongs to me, I love it, and I protect it. Things that come in, like when I said I ate the dog food, my immune system should say, that is not me. I need to do something about that, and I need to ward that off. So that's the difference between your immune system functioning appropriately and the immune system functioning inappropriately, okay? In 2003, and I'm going to finish because I've gone a little bit long. Thank you for staying with me. I've got tons of people, probably the most people we've ever had watch at one time. Thank you so much. I see you, Emily. Thank you. A 2003 study tested for the presence of 210 chemicals. Now, this was 2003. Okay, we're in 2019 right now. 2003, they checked for 210 chemicals in Americans' blood and urine, okay, including industrial components, pollutants, insecticides, dioxins, and mercury, and found that everybody, right, tested for about 91. Everybody had them, and everybody had about 91 different chemicals, right? Another study from 2005 looked at the fetal cord blood of infants, right? And the newborns all around the United States. They found 287 industrial chemicals in the fetal cord blood. So our little babies are being born into the world already contaminated with almost 300 chemical toxins. So this is part of the problem. And then we go and we insert more toxins when we do vaccines and antibiotics and hormones and all that kind of stuff. So we need to stop the madness here. So Linda, I appreciate your comment. Thank you for your wisdom. And I thought about this and I wanted to open with this, but I got busy and I didn't. The Bible's really careful to give us instruction about wisdom. Now, what is the difference between wisdom and knowledge? Knowledge is just facts. Okay, now I go to school and I learn a lot of facts. I do research and I do a lot of facts. Wisdom is know how to implement those facts, what to do about those facts. So thank you, Linda, for your comment. You need to have wisdom to know how to live in this environment. And you might think, well, I wish I lived back before we were industrialized. No, you don't, because you wouldn't have electricity and air conditioning and lights and Kindles and all that kind of good stuff, right? We just need to be wise and know how to live in our own environment. So that's very, very important. The doctor says, okay, other environmental factors could be at play. Smoking is shown to potentially trigger rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, multiple sclerosis, okay? Miller says that meteorological components such as ultraviolet radiation, temperature, and humidity, oh my gosh, we live in Houston, humidity could be triggering autoimmunity. So I'm not going to get too hyped up about that. So I've gone too long. Let me just say on this, what we're going to do, because we just got these in, introductory special, right? If you want to have this test, and it's called immunity, autoimmunity, and it tells what your DNA says you're susceptible to. If this is something that's going to be helpful to you, we're going to give you this at the introductory price of, I think it's $250, okay? This kit comes to you. You can pick it up here at the clinic, or we can have it drop shipped to you. It's like I said, it's $250, and they will send you everything. You fill out the form. Actually, you have to fill out the form, and you send it in, and you'll get your results in 10 days. Now, this one that I'm talking about today is autoimmune, but I know a lot of you out there may be on a lot of different medications because you're already having autoimmune issues. There is a panel, and it will tell you, based on your genes, based on your DNA, what medicines are going to further push you into an autoimmune disease process. So there's another test that you can do that will just tell you if you have to be on medications for your health, and I say that kind of like, really? But anyway, if you're in that situation where your health is broken down, that you need these medications, and you're having all kinds of reactions to the medications, there's another test that we can order that tells you, based on your DNA, what drugs you should avoid. This is very, very just so necessary for you if you're having this kind of situation. No, Michelle, no, this company, thank you. This company does not sell your information to anybody. It does not sell your information to Big Pharma. It does not sell your information to the law enforcement agencies. It's not like 23andMe. It's not like Ancestry.com. It is between you and me and the lab. It goes no further, and you sign on that, and they tell you that in their paperwork that it doesn't go anywhere. That's a great, great question. So there are 13 different panels. I've mentioned two. I've focused mainly on the autoimmune panel because that's what we're discussing right now. But we will be doing some more of these videos so that you can get a better understanding of what your DNA can tell you. Again, this is not Ancestry.com. This is, what do my genes say about me? What are the best supplements for me? What do I need to avoid? What is in my microbiome? What do I need to worry about? So this very, very good information. So Michelle, again, this company, I talked to the guy this weekend at length. They do not sell your DNA to anybody else. It doesn't go to law enforcement. It doesn't go to the FBI. It doesn't go anywhere. It's between me and you and the lab, and that's it. So that's the good news. If you need any more information, then go ahead and let me know in the comments. Thank you so, so much for watching. Love you so much. Have a great weekend. Be good to yourself. And remember, your cells are listening. Your cells are recording. Whatever they're recording is going to affect your immune system. So be good to yourself. Love you so much. Bye-bye.